Welcome, my pickles, my turtles, my snowflakes, my keto community. This is Sarah with another edition of Sarah School, which is regurgitated information that I take from periodicals, from books, from websites, and I throw my spin on it and throw it out to you. This was what Miss Joyce gave me for Christmas. Additives. And that it is. The next chapter, you can see that, right? How gross does that sound? Meat glue. I had to just get this over with. Carrageenan is important because you can begin to avoid it right away today. Meat glue, however, is very tricky, and you may find it in the foods you purchase to eat at home, but most likely you're going to go to a restaurant, even a hoity-toity fancy Nancy restaurant, and you will find the usage of meat glue. Trust me, they have shimmied their way around every USDA requirement to get this going. This is brought to us from a company that is named Ajinomoto, and it's the same company that brought us MSG. And what is meat glue? It is a transglutaminase, and it is something that they literally glue pieces together from fish to chicken to beef. And what can happen is it binds with the amino acids in the animal protein or the fish, and it kind of glues itself to it. So meeting up with the amino acids kind of makes it all marry. And what you will find is that it can happen and you don't even know you're having it. Chances are you'd have to be in a restaurant, and even fine restaurants use this practice because, as one person put it here, it makes you a better chef. Shame on them. But this is the stuff, I'm telling you. So it says right here, meat is something you buy at your neighborhood local butcher. Glue is something you buy at Home Depot. Those two words just don't belong in the same sentence. Hello. That's true. And this is meat glue that you can purchase online. Oh, how disgusting is this? So it comes to us, and in a restaurant, they will use it. They will, this is funny because this was a fancy eatery, and that closed in 2014. I don't think it's related to this, but just know that it happened there. And the man that was the chef and the owner of this very pricey restaurant said he concocted all manner of playful and bizarre foods with meat glue, including shrimp spaghetti, which he made by mixing salt, cayenne pepper, deveined shrimp, and meat glue in a blender. Swallow hard. And then he was the one, Warren Dufresne, that said meat glue makes us better chefs. So the thing that is most dangerous and curious about meat glue is that what happens is the edges, even if you have a regular steak that has not been glued with this item, and you cook it, even if there's bacteria on the edges of this solid piece of meat that hasn't been glued, all the bacteria will be cooked away, even if the steak is rare, okay? But if you are piecing together something like a steak, and so it's pieces, and the bacteria is around each piece, that's the dangerous part. And then you use this glutaminase, pardon me for butchering it, pun intended, then the bacteria is not going to be cooked away. So that's the danger in that. And so it could be something that could make you very sick after being in a restaurant. You might think it's food poisoning, which, you know, it does have the, come from the same family of that sort of thing. But it is at the hands of the chef and not too old or damaged in the field. So they talk about faking a steak. And so this enzyme doesn't actually glue the meat like you might think. It interacts with protein to create a bond. It does the job so well, you can't tell just by looking at a glued together piece of steak or piece of chicken or fish that it's not the real deal. And chances are you won't taste the difference either. And let's just hope that it is still, the bacteria doesn't get to you. So it is one of the worst food fakeries because restaurants are not inspected for meat gluing. They've got other standards and Board of Health sort of things. So here's the deal. If you've ever attended a banquet or a convention or maybe even dined in a restaurant and were served an expensive looking steak or sushi at a bargain price, you may have wondered how that came to be. The answer is either that the restaurant owner is losing money with each meal, or more likely, there's a bag of meat glue in the kitchen. Now, Greg and I don't eat out anymore. And the last thing on my list of places that I do eat is the Earthy Crunchy restaurant that I used to go to a lot more frequently than now, when I would go every Tuesday with my friend, but now we don't go anymore. And so, and I told you about the time I was sitting there and the door to their pantry storage was open, and there are all the Wesson vegetable oils and canola oils. So even though it's organic and locally sourced and blah, 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 they're still cooking with all of the oils that are not healthy for you. And I don't think you can escape that in a restaurant. Scott, the truck driver, talks about that as well. You just can't escape the unhealthy oils that restaurants and food places use. And so, yeah, go into at your own risk. I don't think you're going to find something sautéed in butter. Maybe it might start that way, but yeah, a lot of the unhealthy oils are used. So we need to be careful of this, and there's no real way to find out if the restaurant's using it. You could ask the server, and I'm sure that the chef, high up chef, they wouldn't even dare do it. So it is, now here's something that is interesting. It can flare up those with celiac disease. And that's not on any label, you know, it's not like you can look out for this binder, for lack of saying that long word. And if you have celiac disease, it could flare from having some food fakery done to you at a restaurant. So you really need to be careful about that. And that could be part of the surge in celiac disease. So there are places that you also may find it, like in cheeses, breakfast sausages, hot dogs, and bolognas. This is processed cheese, obviously, not the real deal, but things like American cheese. And so even milk and bread might have it. So, but we're not having milk and bread on our Keto Under 20, are we? No. So I'm just going to read the bottom part where it says, know your additives and how to avoid them. Meat glue, transglutaminase. When dining out, watch for the menu items that are priced so low they seem too good to be true, because they probably are. If you're attending a conference or convention that has ribeye steak they're serving up, it may very well have been scraps of meat the day before. Gross. Remember, restaurants have no requirements for any kind of labels or warnings, so you pretty much have to trust the integrity of whatever establishment you patronize. Avoid buffet or supermarket sushi. Good and safe sushi is an expensive and very skilled dish to prepare, but ersatz versions may well be put together with meat glue. And don't forget that besides having rice in the sushi, it also may have wheat in the sushi. And of course, there's no nutritional label that will identify all of the little hidden things in sushi when you think you're clean eating. I think I would tend to trust an upscale restaurant for that sort of thing, but sushi's never, ever been on my long list, much less my short list. But for those of you that do have that, I would rather have mine in the form of swordfish or flounder or cod, but that's just me. If you're buying prepared meat, chicken or seafood in the supermarket, either frozen or made into an entree, check for either transglutaminase on the ingredient list or the words, here's the secret part, formed or reformed on the packaging, okay? Formed or reformed. It means it's been messed with. Don't expect to see any notice of this on the nutritional facts panel, which is, in fact, a very poor source of information about processed foods. Why? They're only going to do the absolute minimum, which is funny, of the highly processed food because they want you to buy it and eat it as part of your standard American diet. So this includes Sarah's School meat glue. Gross. So it's probably more of an issue if you dine out, more of an issue if you go to functions through your job or your profession, and also if you're buying kind of prepared foods at the grocery stores to bring home and eat. Look for reformed, formed, or transglutaminase on the label of ingredients, not on the front and not on the nutrition, in those ingredients that have all those swirly-girly names for fake food eating. And so, this has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food. When they say eat wholesome foods that haven't been tampered with, they aren't kidding, are they? I think this is one of the worst ones. So, I look forward to seeing you again with another edition of Sarah School Regurgitated Meat Glue. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.